Hello and welcome to this Monday show where I'm joined by the one and only, the most awesome Eric Mintel. Welcome to the show. Hey, Eric the Vampire Mintel. Oh, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing, Andy? I thought you did.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I love stuff like that, as you know.
Of course. Well, you have to have fun. You have to have fun doing these investigations too, because you know how it is. We've said it before. When you're in those investigations and they're serious, man, and you're on site and you're into some dangerous situations. But when we investigate, but you also have to have a little time to have a little fun.
Yeah. You've got to keep it light, and because it can get to that very quickly.
So,
right. So we are going to talk about your latest book.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, we are. You are. I'm not. I didn't write it.
Well, hey, listen. First of all, I want to say thank you again. It's been a minute since we've been on the show. Since I've been on your show. I know we've been trying to get some things together, and I haven't been available. Yeah. You haven't been. You've been damn so busy. So, both. It's very good. But I'm glad to be here, and you're one of those guys, man, that I really enjoy talking to because. It's like-minded individuals. You guys you're like us. You're out in the field investigating this stuff, like boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And but yes, no. The book's pretty fun, man. It took me a little bit to get it together, but I finally did it. I mean, it probably took about a year, maybe a year and a half.
Oh wow.
I took a lot of the cases that we've been on. It's called Eric Mintel Investigates. Casebook Investigations 2016 to present, and talking about not all of the cases, but the cases that were the most interesting and the most mind-blowing. The Beast of Bray Road, UFOs over Bucks County, ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, the Bigfoot in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. So all kinds of stuff that we experienced and wanted to write about. And I finally got it together, and I'll tell you, man, it's been going great. It's available on Amazon as usual with all the usual, outlets. But I've been doing a lot of book signings lately, and they've been great too. A lot of people are, buying books. They've been selling like hotcakes, man. It's been great. I was up at the Exeter UFO Festival in Exeter, New Hampshire, at the end of August. And I was just at, believe it or not, the Mothman Festival.
I know. I've seen the pictures, and I'm like, how dare he go without me? I'm like, oh my God.
Andy, if you were here, man, you could have gone because Dominic at the last minute couldn't go. So I wound up going by myself. So it was
really?
Yeah, it was 7.5 hour ride to get down there, but it was
worth it.
I was glad that I did it because it was funny. There was 20,000 people there.
Wow.
And it was amazing. I sold out of books and got to hang out with those guys from Mountain Monsters. One of my favorite.
Yeah.
Jeff, Willie McQuillan. So it was really, really cool. And I saw my old buddy, Steve Ward, who I'm sure you've probably interviewed Steve too.
Oh, he's such a top guy.
He is.
When he told me he was getting the job as a curator, I'm like, that has got to be the best job. Even though he only does like weekends or like
Right,
2 days a week or whatever, it's like, I
and
still want that job.
lives on the same road that they first had the Mothman sighting.
No, I
I
know.
mean, like, what?
Well, you couldn't write it,
No,
but
man, it's unbelievable.
it's just so, just everything about that is just so surreal.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's insane. So I mean,
Yeah,
so that was really cool, and so the book has been great. And then of course we've been busy as hell with doing new videos.
yeah.
We're doing a lot of releases. Like this month for October, I have like 28 days in a row booked, which is
Wow.
I got one tonight. I'm doing a lot of talks at libraries and places like that.
Yeah,
Um, but we've also got a lot of premieres that we've done. So last Friday, we just had a great premiere of this haunted vampire museum we've been doing over here in Bucks County in Doylestown called the Vampa Museum. If
yeah.
you ever go over, if you come across the pond, Andy, you got to come over, and
Oh, yeah.
we got to tour this museum, man. You would love it.
Well, I'm supposed to be doing 2 trips to the US next year.
All right, well,
And
look me up, man.
they're both on like New England, East Coast. So yeah,
Excellent. Oh man, that's going to be awesome. And so we did a premiere of this on Friday, which was phenomenal, phenomenally successful. People
yeah,
loved it. I just put out a post of some of the audience reactions and stuff that my good friend Mike Streakel put together for the museum. And then we had another premiere on Saturday night of another video we did about a year and a half ago. And this was another premiere of this. It was called Hallowed Grounds at the Homestead. This investigation of the 1759 farmhouse, which has got a lot of really crazy activity. And then we did like a haunted library at the Jenkintown Library right down the street here from
yeah.
me. So a lot of really, really cool things. Planning another trip out to Elkhorn soon to do another follow-up.
Ooh.
So that would be good. And then we've got some other things cooking too for January, February. We've got a symphony, actually a place that I've played a lot in the past, Miller Symphony Hall, which is in Pennsylvania here. It's in Allentown. We're going to be doing a video for them as well, which has got a lot of haunted history. It's got a great history, but also a lot of haunted history. So so that's going to be exciting. So I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah. You just mentioned Alcorn, which is obviously the Beast of Bray Road.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's your thought? I know we're talking about the book, but I just want to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
the story behind what happened there. What's your take on it?
Well, for your listeners that might not know, we did an investigation of this cryptid, the Beast of Bray Road. Now, the Beast of Bray Road is supposed to be an upright canine dogman type creature, like 6 to 7 feet tall. It's been seen for years. I mean, it goes back to the 30s, and then in the early 90s, people had been seeing it again. Which I believe there's a family of these things. There's a pack of these things there.
Yeah.
But they had seen this in the early 90s, and Linda Godfrey, she was a great author. She's passed away now, but she was a phenomenal author, historian, and she started writing about this creature in the local newspaper. And from accounts that people were getting of seeing this creature crossing Bray Road. Bray Road is it's about a 4-mile road in southern Wisconsin, which is Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So a good friend of mine, Ellen Collins, and she's a big fan of what we do. She had said to me, we ought to do a video on this Beast of Bray Road, and I'm like, well, I said, I had heard about it. I didn't really put too much into it back in the day. I wasn't really, I had heard about it. I didn't know too much about it. But then I said, well, the only thing is I would love to do that, but how are we going to get out to Elkhorn? Who's going to pay for the editing? Who's going to do this? So anyway, she paid for the whole freight. She was phenomenal, and we're forever in her debt for these videos that we did.
Yeah.
And so I made her the executive producer. So
fair enough.
Oh my God. And so we did this investigation on the farm of Lee Hample, which is he's amazing in himself. He was a math teacher. He's still around. He's in Elkhorn. His farm is about 0.2 of a mile from Bray Road, but he used to be a math teacher, and he never had any interest in the paranormal whatsoever. He was like 35 years as a math teacher until he retired and became a hay farmer. He bought his mother's farm from his mother's estate, and this was back in 2011. He bought it. He didn't start farming there until 2013, and in 2014 is when he first had his encounter with this creature. But his neighbors were going, "Hey, Lee, by the way, that's your property. That's where the creature is." He's like, "What?" He knew Wisconsin was the home of alcohol, but these guys were straight. They were being serious. So he didn't really put too much into it until he had his encounter with this thing one night in May of, I think it was 2014. He saw these red glowing eyes staring back at him from his field, and he was pulling out of his driveway, and he saw this thing, and he saw these eyes, staring back at him, and then boom, they jumped about 15 feet in the air and disappeared. And then the next day, this set him on this path of like, what is on my property? Yeah. And he went over there and looked and saw that there were tracks. They found hair samples. They found all kinds of weird stuff. So Lee started putting out trail cams all over the property and began to get crazy images of orbs, UFO lights in the field, this weird mist that's been showing up, and then taking the deer that he's got in this one bait area. Like it looks like it's over the deer in one picture, and then the mist is gone, and so's the deer in the next picture. So it's just this weird dynamic energy that's going on out there. So we went out in October of 2021, and again, I go out there and I go out there thinking, hey, we're going to get a great documentary. We're going to talk to some great people, hear this great story, never thinking once, man, that we would ever encounter this thing. And the night of October 3rd, I'll never forget it, man. We had like a trifecta of paranormal activity. And I know we've talked about this before, but we had a UFO was the first thing that went over the field. Yeah. Now, if your listeners can understand this, we were on a 35-acre field. It's a hay field, and it's part of Lee's property in the back. And it looks like a big rectangle. So you've got corn on one side to the left of us, corn going in the front of us, and then corn on the right of us. So it looks like a huge rectangle. And all the hay was down. So all the hay had been cut for the year. But we were over in this area called the bait area. We had to take four-wheelers down there to get to that area because it's about a half a mile to get down there.
Yeah.
And so we got down there, got off the four-wheelers, and Dominic right away goes, "What the hell is that?" And he looks up and sees a solid orb of light going over the field. And so we're looking at this thing, trying to figure out what the hell it is. And then all of a sudden it does like a little 45-degree angle and disappears, just blinks out. And then right after that is when we heard the howls. And we heard one in the distance. We heard one very close to us. And then the third one, Dominic says to Ellen, are you hearing these howls? And she goes, "Yeah, they're coming from over there." And as she says that, we hear, it was this scream, growl, yell combination. It was a very monotone. It didn't pitch. It was not a coyote. It didn't pitch. It wasn't wolves or anything like that. This, and other people have heard this, and they all say the same thing. It sounds like a man screaming in this field. It's like this low guttural scream growl. Now, for whatever reason, you don't even know this because we haven't talked about this. For whatever reason, I never listened to those growls and those howls on headphones until maybe about a month ago.
Right. Yeah.
And during the second howl, we had behind us, we had a growl that happened right behind us. So there was something there. It was like it did some kind of low, and we were in pretty imminent danger at that point. And again, no protection. We had no protection because it was my stupidity of thinking that we wouldn't encounter anything. So we had just a flashlight and a radio. That was it. Nothing else. A walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Lee wanted to give me like a flare gun, but I never took it because if we would have had that, we could have lit up that whole area where we heard the howl. Yeah. But when we heard that howl, the first thing was like, what are we hearing? What is this? But then what really got us to get out of there, Dominic goes, "Shine the light over to where we just heard the howls." So we just heard that howl over there, and Scott, our cameraman, it was just the four of us, me, Dominic, Ellen, and her son, Scott. Scott shines the light over to the corn, and there you see two yellow eyes about 6 feet up in the corn going like this. looking back. And we were like, okay, that's it. It was telling us, this is my territory, get out of here.
Yeah.
And we got on the four-wheelers and went back. Lee couldn't believe we were back so soon. It was only like within a half hour that we were out there. Like as soon as we got out there, we started getting activity. I always blame Dominic, because Dominic's like, but this was completely out of his wheelhouse. Dominic is a spirit medium.
Right.
Dominic Mintel, and this is completely, he's not hunting cryptids. So I dragged him out here, and for whatever reason, it was unbelievable. He just was freaked out. And he doesn't get freaked out by a lot of stuff. This thing freaked out. But Andy, that night, the entire town of Elkhorn lost power too.
Oh.
It all went out. And then here's the thing I don't think I ever told you. We went back and did a follow-up investigation 6 months later. Yeah. And we went back. Now, the corn was all down at this point. This was like April of 2022. We went back there. All the corn was down. And we didn't encounter it this time. We did a night investigation, never heard anything. But during the day, we went over to that field where we heard the howls from before. And we walked around there and tried to find tracks. We found all these weird square tracks. It was really weird. But we went back to the hotel room. All of the hotel keys that we had in our pockets were demagnetized. So something went back, and something's there. I think it's a very high energy area, because you know how you have those ley lines and energy lines throughout the world. I think Elkhorn has something like that in that area, because there is so much more UFO activity out there. This creature, portal activity. Lee, I mean, he's so open-minded to this stuff. He's got pictures of portals. He's got pictures of these like hair samples with, under the microscope, you look at the hair samples, they're translucent. So there's no medulla. He's been trying to get it DNA tested, but everybody wants to charge thousands of dollars to be able to do that. So so he's working on that now. But I'll tell you, man, there's a lot more going on out there than meets the eye.
Ooh. So when are you going out there next? Have you got any plans?
I have no plans right now, but I would like to work on doing something next year, at least sometime next year. It all depends on, what our schedule's like and if we can get out there and do that. And a week later, and also in the book, I wrote about that in the book, but I also wrote about Pine Barrens Bigfoot, which we actually did an investigation of a week later in Elkhorn. I mean, not in Elkhorn, in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. So this is a week later. We're in the New Jersey Pine Barrens investigating Bigfoot, and had encounters there too. And again, it was me, Dominic, and it was Eric Spinner, who is a great Bigfoot researcher, and Art Mack. They're great guys, great researchers. But again, we had activity down there. And I had always seen those shows on Bigfoot, and I saw these guys whooping and hollering, and I'm like, I always had a laugh. I'm like, is that what they really sound like? But you know what? It changed my whole perspective on what's out there, because we heard the same thing. And we were like 5 miles into the Pine Barrens, and no one's around. And Art and Dominic are talking, and all of a sudden we hear a whoop in the back, and Eric's high-powered microphones picked it up. And then Heather, Eric's wife, decides to answer it back. And in the woods, it's answering us back. It was insane. So everybody could see that on my video. It's called Pine Barrens Bigfoot. And then we did another follow-up called On the Watch for Squatch. I don't even think I told you about this. Just last year, we did a follow-up on that investigation, and we even had more activity that time. We basically went down there, same area, and again, Art and Dominic are talking. Now, Art, unfortunately, he's going through some cancer treatment, so he's got to take some medications and stuff, but we're in the circle there talking about their, the protocols, what they do for the research. And Art goes, guys, I don't know if it's the medications or what, but my heart is really racing right now. And with that, we hear a branch crack behind us, and we see this branch just moving like really erratically. And for 2 seconds, I saw 2 yellow eyes just about 7 feet up, boom, and then they disappeared. And we could hear something going back into the swamp area. Now, poor Art, we never even checked on him. He could have face planted there, but he was fine. He was fine. But we were just completely jumped up from that. And that was like, wow, what is going on here? And, people know the Jersey Devil. Okay. There's the Jersey Devil is supposed to be in the Pine Barrens, which is supposed to be like a big winged horse creature, or, or as small as a good sized turkey, or as big as a medium sized dog.
Yeah.
So I always had we always had different inconsistent reports of that. But I always thought that the Jersey Devil may be a misidentification of Bigfoot. Now here's a really weird thing. We brought Dominic down again for this follow up. We did a follow up investigation just last year, and we brought Dominic down because Eric thought, well, what are the paranormal aspects of Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens? Could Bigfoot be a ghost? Is that why people are not seeing him, or they see him and then boom, it's gone? Yeah. Could it be some other kind of entity? Anyway, we brought Dominic down for that. But then Dominic and Art were talking earlier while we were waiting for Eric and all those guys to show up. He figured out a way that Art was connected to this Sasquatch somehow, where the Sasquatch, do you remember in E.T., obviously our favorite film? You remember E.T. and Elliot were like, they felt each other's
the code, and
right.
He's watching TV and he's at school, and the frogs, and
and he's feeling his feelings, right? So that's what Dominic figured this thing out with Art, that Sasquatch somehow is seeing through Art's eyes. It's able to look through Art's eyes, right, at what's going on. Which the only reason I say that is because why Art's heart started racing was like, could this thing have been watching us?
Yeah.
And it was getting nervous, like, what is going on? And Art was feeling that feeling, and then all of a sudden it got scared, boom, and left and took off. That was one theory, but I mean, it was just amazing, man, some of the activity. And being boots on the ground investigating this stuff is a whole different dynamic than some of these people being on their computer researching it that way. You have to be out, because there is stuff going on that you can't explain, man. And feeling it. I mean, even down there, the last time we were there, we got zapped. We got zapped because all of our the Dominic's Apple Watch, boom, drained power. All of the lights that we had for the video drained. We had my phone drained. So right after we heard that branch crack, so whatever came up and manifested itself there, it zapped the energy there. So it was pretty wild, man. And look, and Andy, I say this before and I've said it again, I go into a lot of these investigations a little on the skeptical side, because I always want to say, well, look, especially the ghost situation, like what's really going on there? Is in a house that's haunted? Is it, or a restaurant or anything? Is it like, are the pipes in the basement heating up? Is that what's making those noises? An animal on the roof? Could there be somebody outside talking? That's why they're hearing the disembodied voices. But, having said that, and then having captured what we've captured on camera, man, I'm a really firm believer that there is a real thin veil at the end of the day. That, there's a
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few of us who was in Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk. And I don't want to give too much away because we're doing the show on it in like a week on Wednesday.
Okay.
And so people in the chat, keep your mouth shut, use it with air, don't say anything. But all I'm going to say is we was at the replica of the UFO.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely throwing it down. From the moment we walked into the forest till literally we was coming back out the other end, I thought, well, we're soaked now, we might as well carry on. So we took dowsing rods, and I've never used dowsing rods.
Sure,
I have used them, but not in somewhere as rich as what Rendlesham is. Anyway, so I'm stood about 3 foot away from the replica with the dowsing rods, and I've got the copper ones that sit in the sleeve. So you have to properly spin it to make them move. It's like you cannot, you know how they work. You can't grab them and twist them. And I was asking questions, and they were going,
wow.
And they guided us from one place to another place. And it's like, we've got it all on film. So there's 2-3 people filming it as I'm doing this. I'm not going to say exactly what we was doing, but there was every 100% all the way through. So I'm like 5-10 minutes maybe, and it's like this. I'm like, how is this even? How is it possible? But it did it. It did it.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, man. We did an investigation of a library out here in Pennsylvania, in Western Pennsylvania, and the guy that was with us, Charlie Adams, he's an author. He brought dowsing rods with him, and we discovered there was a cave system under the library.
Oh,
so now we're like, what the hell? We got to go back and check that out. It's not accessible from outside, but we've got to go and look, because all of the boulders and stuff are there. You're not able to get inside. But he knew that it wasn't, obviously there's pipes for like the sewer lines and stuff like that. He wasn't detecting that. He was away from all of that stuff. But there was stories of this cave system where a miner, a spelunker, so to speak, went down there and basically never came out.
Oh.
And this library has been getting all kinds of weird activity, books falling off the shelf, all this like really, really high energy there. So that's one thing that we're definitely going to go back to and do a follow up on. But yeah, the dowsing rods, I totally believe all that stuff. And again, just we don't use a lot of the quote unquote gimmicks. When we're doing investigations, we're not. And no offense to anybody else. I'm just saying that we don't use that on our own. We're not using the REM pods. We're not using spirit boxes or anything like that.
No.
And the only reason I say that is because a spirit box is going to give you a false reading. It'll pick up a CB radio or something in the air.
Yeah.
It's not, or REM pods. You put down a REM pod, it's going to detect your camera equipment, So that's why we don't use it. But we use Dominic or Julie Krause, our psychic medium. Those guys have been phenomenal. And a magnetometer and maybe an EVP. That's about it. And EVP really hasn't really worked for us that well. Maybe once or twice, but the magnetometer has been really, really great. But the magnetometer
into that.
Yeah, the magnetometer is really great because it's like it'll show you, look, when a light is on, you could put that right up to the light and see how much energy is coming off of there. But when you turn everything off, it goes to zero.
So that's similar to what I've got. I've got a digital tri-field meter.
Yeah.
So when you put it up to an electronic device, it'll go red, bleep away, and the numbers go up and up and up. As soon as you move it away or switch it off. If I put it on this computer now, it'll be like boom, like an atom bomb. Exactly. But switch it all off, absolutely nothing.
It's amazing, man. And you just spoke about Rendlesham Forest. On March 8th of 2025, we are having the second annual Bucks County Paracon, and we've got Charles Halt is going to be coming to speak.
Oh.
And he's the guy that did that real time, on his report, kind of giving a play-by-play of what was going on that night in 1980. So for him doing that was amazing because, man, you've got a real-time event, an account of what has gone on. And he hasn't wavered from that story in over what is it now? 40 plus years, right?
18. Yeah, 40 years.
44
years. Yeah.
And same thing with Travis Walton. Travis Walton has not wavered from his story. That's in 49 years, since that was set in 1975. So it's amazing, man. Like all of this stuff. And so we've also got Dave Schrader is going to be speaking. People probably know him from the Holzer Files, and Paranormal 60. And we've got Tom Carey, who's also a great author, researcher from the Roswell crash.
Right.
He's doing a talk on Roswell deathbed confessions and all of the people that he interviewed that they actually handled the wreckage from that 1947 crash. So really, really cool stuff. And then myself and Dominic are going to be there as well. I know, and all your listeners here, I wish that they could come over and check this out. What I would like to do is anybody out there, if they want to bring Eric Mintel Investigates over to the UK, let us know. Anybody, any healthy philanthropists over there, let us know. We got a great show. We have got a great talk that we do. You guys would love it, man. And Andy, we get a chance to hang out too, man.
Oh, definitely. If I wake up tomorrow and I've got loads of zeros after the decimal point in my bank account, I'll be on the phone to you straight away. It's like, right, come over.
Yeah. And then I'll bring all the camera equipment. We're doing an episode, man.
Yeah. You've got to get Dom to dress up as Sasquatch.
Yeah. He doesn't need to. He's already hairy enough.
Undress as Sasquatch.
We said we were saying that we did this investigation. Actually, he was doing an investigation up in Lake Placid, New York, of a Sasquatch up there. And I said, yeah, but people were seeing a naked hairy man. He's like, oh, that was me.
Wow, that's funny.
Again, you gotta
you've got exactly, you've got to. But I'll just say quickly while you're on. So with the Rendlesham, well, you know, there was 3 different landing sites at Rendlesham.
Yep.
So where what we call the giant lemon squeezer, because that's what it looks like, where that isn't the actual landing spot. So I was speaking to Mike Millward. I don't know if he's in the chat, and I met him a couple of times now.
Okay.
And he lives around that area, and he pointed over to where he believes the first landing site was. So as I'm doing the dowsing rods, one of my questions was, can you tell me where the first official landing site was? And they both just went, it's like I could feel like someone had like pulled them and they just stopped there. They didn't like swing about, they just went,
wow,
like they did a wall.
Wow.
And Mike went, that's where I told you.
Wow.
And I walked over. So I'm walking over using the dowsing rods. And I said, right, let me know when I'm on the exact spot. And they just went, I walked about 15, 20 foot and they just went,
wow.
And it's weird because as I got to that point, it's like a bit of an energy shift, but I felt that before. I've only been there like 3-4 times.
How did you feel? How did you feel physically though?
It wasn't, there's nothing negative or positive. It wasn't anything like that. You just felt, I don't know, like a little bit heavier than the rest of the forest. And I'd only walked 15 foot away from where the object, the replica is.
Right.
Well, I got to this part and I was just drawn to this particular tree stump. And I stood there for a few moments. I was on my own. Elaine and Og, who's in the chat, they was not too far behind me because other Elaine was filming. And I just got this feeling while I was stood there. It's like, this is it. I know it's not, well, this could be it. It might be there. It might be it. It was like, this is the spot where it landed. This is the first. And then I did something else. I don't want to give it away. And it just, wow. It was,
you know what?
And these witnesses to prove it.
That's phenomenal, man. Did you get any soil samples?
No, because of how bad the rain was. I didn't even think of doing it. Yeah.
You know, sometimes I didn't think of this either until Bill Burns, you know, from UFO Hunters. Bill and I did some videos together, and we were doing a video in New Jersey, in Monmouth, New Jersey, about these UFO landings and sightings from 1958, 1970, and 2002. 58, somebody saw this sphere going across this road, and then in 1970, police officers saw it land in the swamp area. And there was marks in the field. This like tripod came down, almost just like the Lonnie Zamora case, where the tripod and also that case in Rendlesham where they had that tripod they found of indentations, those 3 marks in the ground. And then in 2002, there was a crop circle that happened in that same field in the same park. So we went over there. It was one of the hottest days, man. It was like in 2019, and we went over and got some soil samples to see if there was any magnetite, and but we never got any results from that. But it's something. Sometimes you get in on that site, and you're like, so excited about stuff, and you don't think about like those, like the little nuances behind that. The other thing too, you have to handle these things too with gloves and whatnot, so it doesn't get contaminated.
Well, the first time I said about the feeling that I got there, and the reason I didn't say anything to anyone at the time, I didn't want to contaminate. I didn't want to contaminate what was going on because I want to go back and do a proper study of that location just to find out if 100% it is that. I believe it is. I've no reason to doubt because of what I was doing previous and after using the dowsing rods. Everything was 100% bang on.
Oh, yeah.
There's no,
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing like that. It was like bang, 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 done. And I'm like, what the is going on? How is this working?
Crazy.
I just couldn't get my head around it. So I thought, right, I'm going to do. Some people had walked off, so we all like, because there's 7 of us in total, so we just kind of split into little groups, and we've gone up one way, and then I walked to this area, and it's like, Joe, when you stand there, and it's like, there's something about this, but I don't know what it is.
So
and
do you have that? Wow. Now, do you have those feelings when you go into, say, a haunted location? Do you have those feelings like, oh, you're sensitive then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I can, like empath.
Okay. So that makes
so I could go into, say we're out on a social night out and drinking, we go into a pub, it's like, don't want to be here. Something about it, don't want to be here. And I go out, I'll go to another pub, atmosphere. And it could be the same people, all the same people from one pub going to the next pub, and it's completely different atmosphere. It's nothing to do with the people. It's to do with the energy of the place.
Yep. Yeah.
Even going to a mate's house or something, I could walk in, and if I'll just turn around, walk straight back out. Other times, sit down, make myself at home.
Well, let me tell you this story. Speaking of that, now we just did an investigation. Your listeners are probably like this as well, because the vampire lore, right? Vampires. Yes. So, everybody thinks Dracula, Dracula was a character, right? Dracula was a character in the movies, but in Bram Stoker's Dracula, but the vampire lore goes way back. I mean, back to the 1600s. But we're doing an investigation now of a haunted vampire museum, and he has over 700 vampire killing sets from the 17 and 1800s, right? Yeah. So basically, I say to myself, why so many? What was going on back then? Why were there so many? And again, it's kind of like, I always like to say, hey, you know what? There is a little bit of truth to the folklore because something was going on back then. So anyway, we're in this museum, and I mean, the items are beautiful. It's called the Vampa Museum in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. But
I need to go.
Oh, you definitely got to come. But we did this investigation. We just actually released this premiere last weekend. It's called Paranormal Pickers, and it's on my YouTube channel right now. But we went into this barn on the property, and Dominic and Julie were with us, and they were immediately being pulled to the back of this barn and the upper part of the barn. We went in there, and we're back there, and Julie and all of us, all of a sudden, we heard a growl, like something that sounded like that. And Dominic then goes, wait a minute, that's what I heard over in the museum when you were interviewing Julie prior to this next section. That's what I heard in the museum. Ed and I were over there. Ed Crimmy is the owner. Ed and I were over there, and I heard that same exact sound. I heard it more than once. I'm like, let's go back over and do a little B-roll and get your testimony as far as what you heard. So about a week later, we left that night because those guys were freaked out from that whole thing. So we went back about a week later, and we stood in front of the this is another thing. He's got a doll room there, and this is where the sound is coming from.
No,
it's got a 5.5 foot Burmese doll. It's an Asian inspired doll.
Yeah,
a beautiful face, Asian inspired face, but it has real hair. And the family gave it to the museum because they were having all kinds of weird stuff happen at the house. They gave that back. They gave it to the museum. There's also another Annabelle doll that's also there. Which is very well, not from the movies, but this is another, not from the movie. It's another doll, but he's got marionettes in there, all kinds of weird stuff. Anyway, Dominic is standing in front of the room, and he goes, when Eric was talking to Julie, I was standing here with Ed, and I thought it sounded like, to me, the voice box of the dolls, with the batteries dying. Well, first of all, there's no batteries in these things, right? They're all older than that.
Yeah.
So with that, you hear the same sound. It goes like that, and Dominic freaks out. And you could see it. It was all real time. He said that he felt like something reached out and tried to grab his shoulders. It was that intense. I was the only calm one there that night. I'm like, so Ed and Dominic are freaking out, and I have the camera. I totally forgot that it was still rolling. So these guys, they take off, and Ed takes off, but he comes back, and we played it a couple of times, and you could hear whatever this is, man. It is just crazy.
Wow.
I don't know if I have anything. I don't know if I could. I was going to see if maybe I could play for you guys that little clip. I don't know if you're able to do that or not, but if you know what, people could go on on my Facebook or on the YouTube channel. It's Eric Mintel Investigates on YouTube, and check out Paranormal Pickers Part 1 and Part 2. It's on Part 2 that we had this activity, but I encourage you to watch the whole video because
hopefully Joe, moderator, if she can get it, then I can share it and I'll add it to the show notes as well.
Oh, great. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Because this is going out on podcast as well. So
great.
It'll be on Apple and Spotify.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome, man. It was an amazing investigation. And I mean, stuff like this happens all the time, Andy. It's like within 20 minutes, 20 minutes, it's all mass chaos, man. It's crazy.
Oh, tell me about it. I'll just tell you quickly, because I know you've got to shoot in a minute, but there's the cemetery that I go to near me. It's a consecrated cemetery. So the church is just walls. That's it. No floor, no roof, no windows. And the guy, Tim, who did my tattoo, he only lives like the other side of town, literally 15 minutes drive away. So we met up there. I think it was a Saturday afternoon or something. I can't remember, whenever it was anyway. So we use his Dolby On to do EVPs. So it's just the app on the phone. So we're talking to, he's been a few times, so he knows a bit of the history of it. I just go and get something. I don't just go home. And we're getting, as we're talking,
oh.
So we're getting the heavy breathing. He sets a REM pod up at the side of this mother and daughter headstones. I see it. It moves only about 20 degrees. Doesn't go off, but it moves.
Mm.
As that's happening, as we're talking, we hear. So it's cross between predator and a frog. You're the
yeah,
but more prominent than that.
Yeah,
that's the best we can do. And we didn't hear it. There's no frogs about. There's no other animals about. There's just me and Tim in the cemetery.
Wow.
And this noise was like it was right up against the microphone.
That's
and
great.
I've got the audio video of it up, so you can hear the breathing as we're talking.
It's amazing.
I was thinking, well, could it be us? Could it be one of us? That's do you know when you're walking about, you don't realize how heavy breathing you are, but you can clearly hear as I'm talking, as Tim's talking, it's over the top of us. It's neither of our voices.
Oh my God.
It's just, it's.
We're shooting part 3, speaking of cemeteries. So, and one of the things, we never go investigate graveyards because we're thinking, well, if there's, you guys in the UK have great pubs, you've got great restaurants. The history there is amazing. So naturally, you've got a lot of places there that are haunted, people, because those energies liked being there. And I always say if a place is being haunted, they liked being there, or maybe they don't even know they shouldn't be there, but they're still there. They haven't crossed over yet. But we just did we're working on part 3 of Paranormal Pickers, and we had to meet someone in this graveyard who had this document that Ed needed to get. It was an antique document that goes along with this vampire lore. So we met this guy in this graveyard. Well, prior to meeting this guy, we're hearing all kinds of screams coming from the graveyard. And it was like animal screams, and it was almost like what we heard in an elk horn. And it wasn't coyotes. We have coyotes out here, but it wasn't. It wasn't a coyote. so very, very cool. So, oh my God, that's the thing, man. And that's why I love all of what we do as far as, paranormal.
With you saying that, sorry, you just reminded me, it's very first investigation I did at a place called Kingsford Cemetery, just up the road from me. There's me and a guy called Matt. There's only us two. We'd gone and we're filming, and this is where Bench Guy and all that came from. But we'd knocked off we'd finished recording, and we thought, right, we'll walk back round. We'll go around the chapel. As we're walking towards the chapel, we heard it was female vocals. But it was like something was mid-change, part human, part animal. I've never heard that noise before. Never in a zoo, never on TV. I couldn't even replicate it, not even close. We just looked at each other, we spun on our heels, and we like, quick march out of there. We was not hanging about.
I mean, it's like, this is what it's all about to me, as far as like doing all of this research and getting that footage and getting that activity, is great. The other thing that I love too, and this is not to sound egotistical or anything like that, trust me. My daughter and I were walking around Spirit Halloween the other day, right? Do you guys have those over there? It's a Spirit Halloween. It's a Halloween like shop with costumes.
Yeah,
and all.
Yeah. We don't have them, but I know what you mean. It's just, that's all they sell, nothing else, just that.
All that. So we're walking around there, and I'm going to check out because I bought a little alien thing. And the girl goes, "My coworker absolutely loves your show." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Where is she?" And she was afraid to come out and say anything, but we had her come out, and she goes, "She loves you." And so we got to talking, and we got a selfie together. So it makes me very happy because you know what? Like, we're all doing this a lot of work to do these things. And to be able to connect with people on that level is really, really cool. I love it. I did a book signing a couple of weeks ago at the Vampa Museum. And this, I think it was a 12-year-old girl. She must have been 12. She was so excited to get that book. She's jumping up and down. She was so excited. And I'm like, it just really warmed my heart because it's like, man, have somebody that enthusiastic about it. And it's cool because if anybody knows me, our show is very, very family friendly. We don't really go into the evil stuff. The Vampa Museum is probably one of the first ones we've ever done that way. But I don't, and anybody else knows me, I don't exacerbate or encourage the evilness of the paranormal, because like a lot of TV shows want to do that, but we don't do that. But I'm just more fascinated by the research and what we're actually capturing on video and what people are seeing. And I love the fact that people are not afraid to come up and tell their story on camera, and I think we're all in a great environment now that we can all talk about this stuff.
100%.
And I just I feel like, we're having that conversation where, even the government's saying, hey folks, the UFOs you're seeing, they're real. We just don't know what they are. And at least it's breaking down that barrier and having the conversation. We still have to have a little bit of we have to discern the truth from the BS, but it's like, at least we're having that conversation. So, it's great. I really, really, and I thank everybody for following us on Facebook and on YouTube and Facebook. We've got so much more content coming. And I do all the editing, man. I do all the editing and all the voiceover. I love it.
Do you find it very time consuming though, doing the editing?
It is. It's time consuming, especially now. I've got one on Halloween night that we're going to be releasing at this National Hotel. And as a matter of fact, tonight, after I do my talk, I'm going up to do extra footage tonight at the hotel, which is only about a half hour from here. But I want to go up and do some extra footage that we didn't get before. So I'm just going up myself to do it. And thankfully, again, the owner is very, very forward thinking. And loves this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to go up and do that. And I should have the video wrapped up before Halloween so we can have the premiere. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. So Andy, as always, man, a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I know it's so difficult getting the right time for both of us for you to come on.
Well, we got it. We got this.
We've done it. We've done it.
Oh yeah, we did it, and we'll do it again too because we should do another one in November and talk about another recap on a lot of the stuff that we're also doing. But if folks want to buy my book, they could get it on Amazon in the UK. It's on Amazon, and I'll do some special. Maybe I could do some kind of special thing too, where I could sign it here, and if anybody wants to order it, a signed copy, maybe they could order it right through me somehow, maybe through PayPal or something like that. So
which is what I'm going to be doing. So
yeah. And I want to thank JoJo for getting my link out there. She's awesome. Thank you so much. As always.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh man, Andy, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. I hope everybody had a good time, and let's do it again, man. We got a lot more to talk about.
I think I'm going to end up doing 7 days a week at this rate.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I don't know if you could see this or not. This is
in front of you. There we go.
Jason Gleaves in the UK, amazing guy. He made this. This is the Communion Alien, and it's also signed by Whitley Strieber. So I got this.
That is amazing.
Phenomenal, man. And this goes right up on my shelf, but it's amazing, man. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I met some incredible people during this, yourself included, buddy. But listen, Andy, when you're out there, stay safe, man.
You too, definitely.
All right, buddy.
You go and enjoy yourself, and I'll speak to you soon, and we'll get the other thing sorted as well.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Cheers, Eric. Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Right, so Eric has got to go because he's going doing a book signing. So the show has not finished yet. I'm going to go for a quick break, and then somebody else might be popping on. But we'll see very, very soon. So give me 2.5 minutes, and then you'll find out what's going on. So see you guys shortly. Hello, and I'm back. Well, I've not played that for a while. I forgot how long it was and what it was about. So, absolute fantastic guy, Eric Mintel. He had to go because he's doing a talk at a library, about 30 minutes away from where he is, but definitely be coming on again soon. So, it will not be, you know, I'm on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday because he does the quartet and all that kind of stuff as well. But amazing, amazing guests. And speaking of amazing guests, have another one coming up right Wait till they're ready. Here he is. Hello and welcome, Alex, again. Can you hear me? No. Well, he's not. Oh, yeah, he's on. Can you hear me? Someone give Alex a nudge. Anything? Nothing? I'm not muted. Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Or am I muted? Yes, we can hear you, Alex. Can you hear me? We are live.
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit.
Oh, you've gone all...
Can you hear me now?
Ah, that's better. How's that? Yeah, you can hear me. You're frozen.
You can't hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
But you're breaking up.
Oh, do you want to let me... Right, I'm going to refresh it. It might go off, but let's see what happens. Is that any better? I don't know what's going on. Alex has vanished. I think Alex has been abducted by the Rendlesham, whatever they are. I don't know. Just no. Alex is a guest on here now. Ah, here he is. Right, he's back. Can you hear me, Alex? Earth to Alex. Wave if you can hear me. No.
Can you hear me?
Are you there? Do you want to go out and come back in again? I don't know what's going on. So I brought Alex on so we could talk about a couple of things that happened at Rendlesham. I was going to do it as a bit of a surprise, but the surprise is that we ain't going to be talking about anything because he can't hear me. I can hear him. So, but quick, a few little bits of what went on at Rendlesham. So when I was doing the dowsing rods, so was Mike and so was Alex. And as I'm asking the question, both of their dowsing rods, their pairs were moving in the way that mine was. And then Mike ended up losing his dowsing rods that were in his backpack that we could see. And then if they'd have fallen out, because the ground was quite hard, we'd have heard them or seen them fall and hit the deck. So I don't know how they vanished. But yeah, it was quite a weird feeling when I went to the place that I went to, but I didn't say anything to anyone. Not that I didn't want to keep him out the loop. I just wanted to be 100% sure with myself that what it was saying was what I believed it was saying. So I don't get that, baby. He's gone. Ah, right. So it might sort itself out. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. So the stuff at Rendlesham, we are going to be doing one on the 23rd. So by then we're going to have the footage. We're going to play a couple of short videos when we come on the 23rd. I've not got the footage yet. I'm waiting for that to be sent over. Once it gets sent over, then I'm going to put it all together and make a video of it. So Alex, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're breaking up, like. Yeah. Can you
Well,
hear me?
You're clear as day.
Oh yeah, you're breaking up.
Oh,
Up on my.
it might be. Let me check.
No, you're breaking up. I heard you then.
Yeah,
It's
you hear me now? Because I'm
where?
getting 1 gig download. It's yours, Alex. I've got 950 download and 107 upload. Alex is the one freezing, not guilty, not my fault this time. Right, let's remove him. I don't know what is going on. Sorry about this, everyone. The only thing, I think it's his internet. It's got to be. I've reset mine, so it's definitely not that. Oh, Alex, can you hear me? This is like being on 1-to-1, isn't it? Back in the 90s. No, he's gone. Completely gone. Yeah, so there was 7 of us. Me, Og, Lane, Lane's husband Simon, Alex, Mike, Mike's dog, and Tim. Sorry, Tim. So, yeah, and we had a really good day other than the weather being absolutely shocking. The moment we walked 10 foot into the forest and it started raining and just kept raining till literally was coming back out the other side. So I didn't get to use a drone, didn't get to use the night vision goggles till we got back to the car park. Did some filming, took some photos and videos and that. Didn't really get anything, or didn't get anything. I didn't get anything. We did hear some disembodied voices. Me and Mike heard them. As we're walking up towards this place that we call the Crossroads. So unless
can you see me, mate?
Ah, that's better. Yeah, we can hear you and see you now.
Yeah,
nope,
I don't know if it's you. Well, everything's okay, my end. You keep
it's you.
Going in and out.
No, everyone's saying it's you, Alex.
Strange.
Yeah, so we got to a place called the Crossroads, and both me and Mike got a funny feeling. So we took some photos. I've not picked anything up from them. I don't know if Mike got anything on his. I've not spoke to him since, so I'm not sure. But it's definitely a place I need to go back to. But I just want to go. I'm going to go to the old part of the forest, which is roughly where the dowsing rods took me to on the first bit. But I need to go deeper into it because there's something about that area that it feels different to all the other parts of Rendlesham that I've ever been to. There's just something, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Unless you was there and you felt it, it's like, I don't know, it's like you're in a different time. That's the only way that I can put it. It just doesn't feel like, like, say you're out with your mates and you're walking about, it just feels like you're pulled away and you're put in a different time zone. You can still see them and you're still there with them, but you don't feel like you're part of it. Right, sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Not sure about the monument, Og. But someone did say that a bit further around, they found about 200 skeletons, and then they about 200 skeletons, and then in one place, and then they just scattered them about around the forest. But I did find what me and Tim believe is bone, and it looks like it's some sort of vertebrae. I found a couple of flints as well. So I don't know if Alex is going to be able to come on. So that other voice, Alex is listening to it on YouTube. So that was my voice then. I think he's trying to catch up to see where we are and how it's working on his end. And it's not very well by the sounds of it. One sec. Say again?
That's fine. You muted my mic.
Yeah, because I could hear myself. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? Hello? So, Og's asking, did you see my photos and videos? Yes, I've got them. What I want to do is put them all together, and then we'll go through them when we do the show week on Wednesday. I just wanted to give a little bit of insight as to what went on. It's nothing spectacular, but thing is, Rendlesham, it's always worth going. There's just something about the place. It's like Cannock Chase. You know, there's stuff going on, and you can feel it going on all around you, but it's not like there in your face 24/7. So unless you go, then it's difficult to explain. Oh, Alex, can you hear me now? Earth to Yarmouth, Earth to Suffolk. Anything? No.
Can you see me?
Nope.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can see you.
It's ridiculous.
You've got about a 5-minute lag.
Well, I don't know. I know we keep breaking.
Do you want to come off and come back?
What it is.
If you come off and come back on.
Should I put you on my stream now for 5 minutes, see if it works?
I don't know if it will, because that means I have to come out of here to go on yours. If you come out, kick yourself out the studio, and then come back in. That's the only way of doing it. Yeah.
I did that and it didn't work.
Oh. Well, do you know what I'm going to do? Let's see. Oh, I'm not. No. Oh, he's gone. I was going to put some background music on, but don't need to now. How about a bit of thunder? Yeah. So we had this going on. We heard a bit of music, like live music, but there's nowhere that could have been coming from. We had disembodied voices. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away. Right, let's see. Is that any better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but I seem to be frozen.
Yes, that's what it's been like all the way through.
Yeah, oh no, we're all right now. Oh, Andy, I don't know. This is ridiculous. It's not meant to be. It sounds like it's a thunder.
Yeah, that's me. I'll put some background noise on to break the silence.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll change it for that.
I have to.
There we go.
Young
I'll
Miles
stop
sent me
now.
a photograph last night.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone off again. And this photograph he took near where I was told leave the ancients and aliens alone.
Yeah.
If it keeps going, and see if you can see anything.
Go on.
Oh, come on. I think it's because it's Monday.
Probably. I've had a crap day in work today anyway, so and then just loads of stuff happened when I got home.
Here, man?
It's just been one of them days. I'd be glad to get in bed and just shut it down. Well, yeah, don't give too much away tonight, Alex, because we're going to save it for Wednesday. So once Elaine and Og, and I've got all the videos and images, I'm going to put them all together, and then we'll do the one that we're going to be doing on the 23rd.
Oh no.
Yeah, people do use Zoom. Sorry, but you can't do a live onto YouTube via Zoom. We could do Zoom,
yeah,
no one would be able to
Wednesday,
watch it.
isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, you got Zoom, Teams, Skype, but you can't go live on them unless you're all invited. So yeah, save it till Wednesday. I just wanted to give him a bit of insight that we actually got some stuff, but I think showing him the evidence of what happened is going to be next level. So I think that's the best thing we can do. So did you enjoy yourself, Alex?
Yeah, it was an interesting afternoon.
Yeah. And the weather? Hello?
Yeah, it was good.
It's back.
I got a couple of pictures because of the rain. It's difficult, isn't it? Because all you do is get spots on the camera lens. So,
yeah, it was a bit. And
there was a few.
There's a few. What should we say? Odd goings on. Wouldn't you say? Oh,
definitely.
But
definitely,
just stepping away from Rendlesham a moment, right? Now, I'm going to go back to a picture that everyone either loves or hates. It's a Marmite of the paranormal. So I just wanted to put it out there now. So you've all heard of Vampire Diaries in the originals, which is obviously about vampires. So we've been watching Legacies and we're getting to the end of it. So Legacies is the kids from the originals, and then their house has been opened up for a school for people with supernatural abilities. Now there's this thing called Malivore, and it's releasing monsters onto Earth to cause chaos. Now one of them was either last night or the night before. Now they called it a Puckwodger, right? So I thought a Puckwodger was like a little goblin. Now this was about a 4 foot. I know it's TV, but you'll get where I'm coming from. So it's like a porcupine, and its power, it was like firing the needles out of its back to stick in the vampires, to like slow them down and what have you. But this is the thing. Let me find it. You're all not that. So you're all going to be like, oh my god, no, not this again. Yeah, Joe, don't give it away because I've not seen it all. Right? And this is what it looked like. The one on the left. Right? Except where it's got the fur, it had like pines coming out of its back and a human type face. and that's a slitting mill trowel from the 1990s or whenever. But the one on the left is an illustration of the one that was seen around the 1920s. But it was the same, very, very similar to this giant porcupine that they were calling a pukwudgie.
Oh, look at that. What's that?
So, is this a pukwudgie? Ignore the one on the right. I haven't got it on its own. I've only got the two together. So the illustrated drawing is what looks like this thing out of Legacies. So, and all the other things that are going on in the show, I have to mute him. I can hear myself again. All the other things that are going on in the show, all the other things that are going on in the show are all these different like golems and obviously vampires and werewolves and witches, plus like tons of other stuff. Could this be, or could that be what this is? Could this be a pukwudgie, this slitting mill trowel? Just a thought, and with me watching it either last night or the night before, I just thought it'd be a good segue into bringing it back on. Right, so I'm going to bring Alex back on, and we're going to add this. So, can you tell us, Alex, what we're looking at other than trees? You're muted, by the way.
If you look at the top of the picture, I only saw this really this afternoon, or just before we came on.
Yeah.
There's a face at the top of the tree. Looks like one of those horrible things.
Where am I looking?
There's also a face either side. At the top of the picture.
Yeah. I can't see it.
You can see like a face. And this is...
I can see the picture, but I can't see what looks like a face.
I can't get it any sort of closer, really.
No.
It looks like one of those horrible, scary little dolls, you know. And I can see it as clear as a bell.
I don't know where I'm looking. I know you said
can't make it any bigger, see, Andy.
And there must be something wrong with my eyes, because all I can see
at the top of the picture.
All I can see are trees and branches.
Up in the eyes.
No, sorry,
you can't see it. I can't get any. No, you got. Yeah, if you look at the top.
Yeah.
Look into. If you're looking at it, it'll be on your left side. It's near the left tree.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of its face, actually. You can't see it.
No. No. Sorry. I
can't get it anymore, because even if I bring the picture down, it won't come down.
Will it not?
Perhaps it's just
sorry.
Can
anyone in the chat see it? Everyone's a bit quiet tonight.
There was two either side of the trees as well, but I can't.
I can see one that looks a bit like a witch. So as you go up the tree on the left and the first bit of light, it looks like a girl.
I'll try and do
No, I've just sent it me on. I can't see anything. No, see, looking at it on my phone looks completely different to looking at it on the monitor. But when I zoom in, it just goes all blurry. No.
Oh, it's a shame. Well, I'll do it. I'll try and try and get it clearer for next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't see it. Everyone's sending it me, and I still can't see it. Oh, wait. Simon sent it me and just drawn a face on it, but
problem.
Is that it?
What's going on?
No, sorry, guys. Now, I just see trees and what looks like a little bit of a female. So about halfway up on the left-hand side, there's a bit of a gap, and it looks like a woman's, like a witch's face with long hair and a witch's hat on. But I think that's pareidolia. I don't think that's anything. But I can't see what you can see, Alex. Simon's having a go at me, and I still can't see it. He's just tempting me and drawing a face on it.
I can see it.
So what does it look like?
I can see it clear as a bell.
So what does it look like? Is it looking at the screen? Is it looking left, right, up, down?
You can't miss it.
No. So is it like looking towards you, the face? Alex?
If you could take the pointer.
Yeah, if you scroll your cursor over the picture, you should be able to see it.
I'll see. There. Can you see? Can you?
No.
Can you see it? No?
No, nothing. Getting nothing. Sorry, Alex. No. Well, we've got 5 minutes left, and then we're going to have to wrap it up anyway. So, no, let me go back to that.
Okay.
No, can anyone in the chat point out
bad tonight?
What it is? Because I don't think Alex can hear. And all I know is to look to the left-hand side. Is it looking at you? Is it looking away to the side? Is it looking up, down?
It's so clear.
Yeah, but is it looking towards you as you're looking at the picture? Is it looking left or right or up or down?
And do top of the tree, in between the trees at the top. It's a face, a little face.
No, I'm not getting it. The only one I can see.
I'll try and get it blown up to a bigger picture.
Yeah, the only one I can see is like what looks like a witch's face. Which, if you look at my screen, it would be like around that bit.
Does look a bit like a witch's face.
That's all I can see, but I can't see anything else.
Not saying I want to. Not saying I like to meet in the forest.
No. No, sorry.
All right, I'll see if I can get that.
No.
I can see if I can do something with that, Andy, for next time.
Right, Simon's,
but that was taken on track 12. He told me.
He took that one. You took that picture. I think there's like a 2-day delay on this.
I didn't know. No, Miles took it. He sent it
okay.
to me yesterday. He said I can show it to anybody. But he took it on track 12.
Right.
And a video. But I couldn't see much in the video. I can see it on this photograph.
I can't see anything. I can see bits, but nothing that looks like a face. I can see something that might look like an eye. But nothing exciting. Right, we've got 1 minute left, Alex, and then going to have to end it, unfortunately.
Well, next time I go down there, I'll have to try and take a few more snaps.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's a shame you couldn't see that, Andy.
I know. I'm even looking on my phone and iPad, and it's just, I cannot see it. No. Oh, I can't even close this now. No, I give up. It's hurting my eyes now. It's giving me a headache.
Really bad connection tonight.
I know. Right, I'm going to have to end it, Alex, because we've come up to the time and we're struggling to hear each other. So, do apologise, everyone, for the internet issues. But we'll be back on Friday. No, I won't be back on Wednesday with Ian Parker, who is the MMA super martial arts guy. I think he's over in Peterborough. So he's going to be on Wednesday. We're going to be talking martial arts and everything that he does. And then we've got Brian King Sharp. He's coming back on, author and podcaster of Sasquatch Odyssey. And then we're on Sunday. And we've got Greg Tomlinson coming on. That's at 5 p.m, the one on Sunday. So we don't run into anyone who does the show on a Sunday evening or afternoon, i.e. Alex or Paul Sinclair. So Nicole will be with me on Wednesday. No Nicole on Friday. Possibly Nicole on the Sunday. So I do apologise for the lack of the internet working. But it's just the way that it goes sometimes. Oh, right. So thank you, everyone. And we will see you on Wednesday at 8:30. So take care and thanks for tuning in. And thank you, everyone who's listening on podcast. So speak to you soon, guys. Good night.
Goodbye.